The history of astronomy. The Mesopotamians were one of the first civilizations to study astronomy. They built observatories known as ziggurats. They were the first to associate constellations with seasons. They used 12 or 13-month calendars and originated the idea of dividing a circle into 360 degrees.
The Egyptians created a calendar based on astronomy that told them when the Nile would flood. They aligned many architectural landmarks with the stars, such as the pyramids of Giza. They also associated their pantheon with the stars and planets.
Stonehenge, which is located in Salisbury, England, is believed to have been built around 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. It used to be able to tell the time of the year and events such as eclipses and summer solstices. Other than that, much mystery surrounds it.
The Chinese created the modern-day zodiac calendar and the lunar calendar. Their calendars were the first to implement 365 days. They also were the first to record many stars and the supernovas.
Thales was one of the first astronomers to try to explain the natural world without gods. He helped people understand the navigation of constellations, such as the Little Dipper. He also measured the height of the pyramids using its shadow and predicted a solar eclipse.
Pythagoras created the first model of the solar system, predicting that all the planets, including the sun, revolved around the Earth. He also theorized that the Earth was round and not flat.
The Babylonians used lunar cycles to tell dates. They learned to predict planetary locations and incorporated a lot of math into astronomy. They wrote all their findings on stone tablets.
Aristotle, who was a student of Plato, made the hypothesis that all planets moved in a spherical motion. He also argued that the universe was made of four elements and believed the Earth was in the center of the universe.
Aristarchus is considered the first to apply geometry to the study of astronomy. He used it to try to find the size of the moon and the Earth. He also believed the universe was much larger than the Earth, and that the Earth orbited around the sun.
Eratosthenes used geometry to find the circumference of the Earth and was actually 15% off the actual circumference.
Hipparchus is considered the founder of trigonometry, but is most famous for his incidental discovery of the equinoxes. In the Mesoamerican culture, the practice of astronomy was extremely important. To the Maya of Mesoamerica, this ancient science reflected order in the universe and the gods placed in it. Venus was very important to the Mayans, so they built many buildings to indicate where Venus was. Many of their astronomical books were destroyed, however.
Ptolemy managed to predict when planets would be in certain places, created the very first celestial catalog, and invented the magnitude system that describes brightness of stars.
The Arabs and Muslims improved calculations for determining planetary positions and were all more accurate than civilizations before. They also improved observatories, equipping them with better equipment. Copernicus proposed the heliocentric model, meaning that all the planets revolve around the sun and the moon revolves around the Earth.
Tycho Brahe opposed the heliocentric model because he observed that the Earth didn't move at all. He improved many astronomical instruments that would help observatories.
Galileo is considered a hero in astronomy. He invented the telescope, which helped prove the heliocentric theory. He founded many stars and Jupiter's many moons, and also noticed that the sun rotated, amongst many other things. Kepler discovered three major laws of planetary motion, conventionally designated as following. 1. The planets move in elliptical orbits with the sun at one focus. 2. The time necessary to traverse any arc of a planetary orbit is proportional to the area of a sector between the central body and the arc. And 3. There is an exact relationship between the squares and the planet's periodic times and the cubes of the radii of their orbits.
Isaac Newton had the three laws. An object at rest tends to stay at rest, and an object in uniform motion tends to remain in the state of motion unless an external force is applied to it. The second law, a force causes acceleration of an object. The third law, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Edmund Halley categorized stars, created the largest star map at the time, and discovered Halley's Comet. Albert Einstein proposed the theory of relativity, expanded Newtonian mechanics, explained how to observe a phenomenon whilst calculating gravity, and explained the curvatures of space-time.
Niels Bohr created the model of the atom and worked on the Manhattan Project.
Wolfgang Pauli helped lay the road for the quantum theory. He did work with quantum mechanics and the movement of elementary particles and the spin theory.
Werner Heisenberg was a key player in the quantum physics and worked with cosmic rays.
Edwin Hubble discovered that galaxies move away from each other at the rate based on the distance from each other, and the Hubble telescope is named after him. Georges Lemaître proposed the theory of the expansion of the universe and the idea of the Big Bang. Robert Oppenheimer worked with cosmic rays and quantum tunneling. He also wrote papers suggesting the existence of black holes.
Fred Hoyle believed in the steady-state model and not the Big Bang theory, and thought life began when a comet hit a planet.
Penzig and Wilson discovered the cosmic microwave background radiation left over by the Big Bang. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were part of the first mission to the moon on Apollo 11 and were the first men to walk on the moon.